Hi, my name's Graham and welcome to wrap up number 2. I can't believe I've managed to make it to 2 videos. I think that's quite a win. I thought it would probably die at video number 1. Anyway, I've been working hard at my day job this week, so I haven't given much thought to what I'll be presenting this week as I probably should have done. I've got a couple of things though. I've got the ongoing saga of the cafetiere. The fix that I came up with last week was, well, let's just say plain stupid. It wasn't going to work, but I think I have got a solution now. I'll show you the finished cabinet. Last week I showed you the doors that I was painting, and I'll show you the finished cabinet this week. I had to do a little bit of work on the doors to make them fit, unfortunately, but I'll show you that upstairs. And the other thing I want to show is a slight adjustment to Festool Domino that I've got. I've noticed it when it was dominoing for like a, say, mortise and tenon joint on a stile and rail. They weren't quite aligning correctly, and I'll show you why I think that is and what I can do to fix it. So, on with the show. So here's the finished cabinet. Unfortunately, I didn't catch any video of actually making it, but I've got something similar to make, so hopefully I'll video that later. But yeah, it's my first ever attempt at a face frame, and I think it went pretty well. The only problem is, you can see here, I've had to take down the side of this door slightly. I think as I fitted it all dry in the workshop, and I had a nice 1.5mm reveal around the edge, and then when I fitted the face frame, I must have knocked it ever so slightly out of true, because it rubs here and here, so it must be just skewed a bit, but it was rubbing slightly too much here, so I've just taken that down and I'll just repaint that. But that was the only modification I needed to do to get it to fit. As you saw last week, I painted in the hinges, and that was maybe a bit of a mistake. I had to go through with a chisel and just clean out all the paint that had stuck in there, but that was easy to do. It was, you know, a 10-minute job. But there you go. I fitted some magnetic catches top and bottom to stop the door getting pushed back in. So all in all, I'm really chuffed with that. There's quite a lot of effort went into painting it, more than I expected. I also made the oak top to the cabinet as well. That was a mistake. I only oiled that, and I should probably have clear coated it with epoxy, because it's, as you can see, to the left of the sink there, it's gone a bit mouldy. But I'll fix that. I'll fix that some other time. Right, so the ongoing saga with the cafetiere. The solution I came up with, if you remember, was to fit a couple of nuts on here and just screw them together, and then that would screw up against it. Well, of course that's not going to work, is it? Because this broken plastic bit slides over that shaft to hold down the filter. So if I just put nuts on here, the filter would still be free to move up, you know. Well, it would be free to move up the height of that, which is not going to work as a seal. So the solution, and as if by magic, here it is. So the solution is just, rather than some nuts, I've put a wing nut on there, and then some M6 washers, just a stack of 4 M6 washers. Happen to be just the right size to go over that shaft. And they press down nicely. So you just screw the base up and then screw the wing nut down, and that is held good and firm. Now, what I don't know is why they use such a rubbish little piece of plastic when they could make these by the absolute million for nothing. Now, it's a real weak point in the system, but there you go, it's done. And all for the cost of some washers and a wing nut. Brilliant. Right, so here's my domino. Probably the best bit of woodworking equipment I own. In fact, possibly the best tool I own. Lovely piece of kit. It really, if you're doing any sort of woodwork, you know, where you've got to join 2 bits of wood together, this is the tool for the job. It's absolutely brilliant. Bloody expensive, mind, but I think it's worth it. It's not paid for itself yet, but it will in its lifetime, which is going to be really long. This is going to pay for itself. But I currently have a little bit of a problem with it, and it happens, or it shows itself when you say adjoining a stile to a rail, and that it ends up slightly out of alignment. So what you do, let's get this out of the way, to join a rail and stile together, you put them like this. So so say this is the rail and this is the stile, and then you just get a set square and you draw a line where you want the domino to be. Now what you do is take the domino and you line it up with the line. So this line here, you line up with that line there, and you push the domino in and it cuts a hole in here, and you slide the domino in. All good so far, and then you repeat the process here, and you slide the two together, and you should find those two lines exactly line up again. And if you've lined up the face here, you know, everything is nice and square, everybody's happy, and you've got a joint made. The trouble is that's not what's happening at the minute. The dominoes fit really tightly in the holes, so if there's any misalignment, you end up with the piece of wood like this. Obviously that's massively exaggerated, but you end up with a misalignment like this, and that's what's happening to me at the minute. I'm ending up with these two lines not quite lined up, and it's not user error. This is repeatable error on every single joint, no matter how accurately I line them up. And I tell you, when you lie that, yeah, when you lie that line across your pencil line, you know, I don't know if you can see that, but you can get that really accurate. You know, there's no way I'm more than 1/10 of a mil out when I line those two things up. So there's some misalignment in the machine, and I think it is actually with this plastic, with this piece of plastic, because as you can see there's two screws here, and I thought they were just screwed home and set perfectly, but I don't think they are. There's a tiny bit of adjustment. There's maximum 1 millimetre of adjustment there. Let me see if I can zoom you in so you can see that. Yeah, so there's just a tiny bit of adjustment here and here, and you can see, I don't know, just down here there's a bit of a gap, and it's hard up against here. So I think that at some point somehow this has become slightly misaligned, and I mean the error I'm seeing in my finished piece is only half a mil at tops. So I think if I set that to roughly the centre, I should have well aligned dominoes. So that's what I'm going to try now. I'm surprised they slit. They're reasonably tight. I think I'm going to take them out and just blow off the dust. Hope I don't regret taking these out. It's quite a fine thread. Yeah, what's it gonna... I hate doing things like this just in case I crack it. Right, I'd say that's by eye. Yeah, so by eye that's now pretty well centred, and I'll give that a quick go. There we go, tested the newly aligned domino. Just 2 scraps of wood, butted up as if you were making a cabinet door or something like that. And what I like to do is lay my square along here, along the back edge. Obviously you'd have jointed all your boards nice and flat and square. And just stick a line along there, and then all you're doing is dominoing along that line. And what I want is these two faces to be aligned once I finish the domino. Now, I do know from talking to some cabinet makers that typically you would just use a table saw to just cut that square afterwards, so it wouldn't be that much of an issue for them, but I don't have a table saw, so I have to try and make sure they're aligned. Right, moment of truth. Oh, perfect. Absolutely, those two faces are spot on. So I'd say that's job done, and the reference across here is quite good. This piece of wood, because it's from the centre of the tree, is a bit warped, so the alignment's not as great as it could be. It seems the domino seems to have rested about here, because this is slightly high, but you know, obviously this is just a piece of wood from B&Q, so it's, you know, banana wood. I'm chuffed with that. That is nicely fixed. Little tip for your domino. What I suggest you do is for each size of domino, you get some dominoes and then just sand them on the big faces, on the largest faces, because then you can use them for dry fitting, and you can get them out easily. Because if you don't sand the faces, what you end up with is this, and there's no way you're going to pull that out of there. But what you can do is just get a quick clamp, and you know, just quick clamp that on, and then hit it with a mallet, and it does come out, but of course you risk marring the wood. Whereas if you sand the faces, like I've done on these, and all you're looking to do is take off the pressed marks on them, you know, so the size markings, and then you can just use them over and over again. It's a really quick way of dry fitting stuff. Well, a bit of a short one this week, but I think that's all I've really got time for. I've got to get on and fix a bit of the house, because you know, I started fixing up a room a couple of months ago now, and it's still not done. There was quite a lot of work to do, mine, but you know, in coming weeks, oh yeah, we had the build around, so that's progressing at long last. It looks like they're going to start building in, well, he said late April, May, so I'm guessing mid-May probably. That will give me a new workshop, rather than this tatty looking room that I've got here. I'll have a decent sized workbench, hopefully get the CNC started again. What else? Yeah, I mean, before the builder starts though, I've got to take a couple of windows out. I've got a couple of sash windows that have, well, certainly seen better days. I need to get them out and give them a clean up. I don't know how much work there is to do on them. There's certainly, the paint's going to come off them. I think I'm going to go as far as taking the glass out. I've actually got to make a couple of windows, but I might just board up the holes for the windows until I have a proper workshop, and then I can get some proper cutters and, you know, do the job properly. Because to be honest, with the equipment I've got available to me at the minute, making sash windows would be a serious challenge. It's I don't really have a planer thicknesser, so you know, dimensioning the lumber would be really hard work. And the profiles, yeah, I mean, I've got something that passes a router table, but you've got to get down on your hands and knees to use it. I must show you that actually in another video, because I'm pretty chuffed with that. I've made it out of an old cupboard. Yeah, anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. I never thought I'd say this, but click, link, subscribe, or whatever it is everybody says in their videos. You know what to do. Yeah, cheers. See you next week.